Part 74. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 734. Click here to read on mobile phone. While Jia Yan was talking to Satsamakan, Jia Lin had already taken her two daughters to her parents. This little girl didn't know much about Jia Yan, but she knew that her brother was really back this time. When Jia's father and Jia's mother heard the truth, they also experienced ups and downs of emotions. After all, for them, the death of their only son was a period of pain, but many things in the future will be difficult for them. Everywhere is filled with the feeling that the son is still there, even vaguely guarding the family. Otherwise, no one in the Jia family can achieve his current status. Of course, it is only now. No one can say whether there will be someone in this family worthy of his current status in the future. But Jia Yan naturally cannot be counted. If he really comes out, the entire star field, not to mention the earth, will tremble faintly for his existence. That boy, I know. I know, Jia's father's fingers kept trembling with excitement, but he said insincere words. Old man, let's go over and see our son. I haven't seen my son for a long time. I want to see him. I haven't seen him for so many years. How can he go to another universe? I don't know how much he has suffered. Mother Jia was also crying and pulled her up. He took Jia's father's arm and went to Jia Lin's house to see his son. Dad, Mom, you don't need to go there, I'm here. As they were talking, a bitter voice reached the ears of the two elders. Hearing this familiar voice, the faces of the two old men were shocked. Then they turned around and saw a man with a familiar figure standing at the wide open door, who seemed to be exactly the same age as before. He still feels like a big boy, still so young. Xiao Yan Mother Jia sobbed even louder when she saw the boy's face. Father Jia on the side also nodded excitedly, with tears in his eyes. Okay, it's good to come back. Okay, it's good to come back. He didn't know whether he was crying or laughing. Laughing and crying at the same time, with snot and tears flowing out, it looked very funny. But Jia Yan didn't think it was funny at all. At this moment, when he saw that his sister was not crying, he thought that his clone was incapable of crying, but his nose became sore and a line of tears rolled down his face. Having been a wanderer for many years, seeing the kind of emotion my parents have is filled with ups and downs and countless feelings. His feet went weak. With a pop, Jia Yan knelt down on the ground. Then, before his elder brother and sister could react, Jia Yan knocked his head on the ground, making a loud noise. Dad, Mom, my unfilial son is back. He hasn't reported that he is safe for 10 years. My son is sorry for you. My son kowtows to you. After saying this, there were several loud noises that shook the sky. As a son, Jia Yan knows that he has made his parents worried, and in the past 10 years, he sometimes dreams about this scene. Now that the dream has come true, Jia Yan does not know that it is a dream. It is still true. In short, he showed his guilt towards his parents and the love for his parents from the bottom of his heart when he knelt down this time. Jia Yan cannot kneel to anyone, he can never give in when facing strong men, and he can even sacrifice his life to win. In the face of any powerful force, he can fight back to the end. But only when facing his parents, Jia Yan's knees are weak. He doesn't have to kneel in the world, but in the whole world, he will only kneel down to worship his parents, because this is human ethics and it is also a son's duty. Normal reaction. Don't kneel to heaven and earth, only kneel to your parents. Son, don't kowtow. It's good to come back, don't kowtow. Before Jia Yan could knock down any more, Jia's mother ran forward and pulled Jia Yan up. In the Jia family courtyard, there was no excitement on this day. Since some things are hard to explain, Jia Yan doesn't want his identity to be exposed to the public eye. And as a top being, what he wants right now is not some attention, but time to enjoy family happiness with his family. Of course, in the entire Geo family compound, there are those who act as guards, and there are also famous secret guards. They are still somewhat vaguely aware of the affairs of the Geo family at this time. These past few days have been full of sincere high spirits, and even the little baby girl, Jiaruo, seems to be laughing. Of course Ruruo laughed because her uncle, Jia Yan, used the old tricks again to play the game of throwing high with the little baby girl's niece. She didn't know if it was inherited from sisters. Her sister Jia was just like that back then, and she liked this very much and pestered Jia Yan every day. Of course, Jia was a little bit annoyed that her sister had robbed her of the care she received from her uncle, but in the past few days, Jia really had no time to bother with Jia Yan. Because the real number one person in the Jia family, or the possible strong man in the future, has actually reached an important moment of promotion at this moment. That is heaven level. Jia Yan originally thought that his niece would not be promoted so quickly, but he did not expect that under his full guidance, this little girl had made rapid breakthroughs in the past without the guidance of a strong person. There was almost no obstacle, and she reached the very pinnacle of heaven level. At this moment, she is condensing her strength and making a heaven level breakthrough. As long as you break through the heaven level, you will be considered a master even within the entire Yingxian arm. And among the people on earth who have only been practicing for 10 years, you can be said to be far behind others and become a well-deserved master. First, uncle, I don't understand the specific meaning of breaking through the power of brain waves. But these days, I always feel that something wants to break through, but it's stuck here. Can you tell me more specifically? One day, Jia asked Jia Yan, who was standing in front of her in the room where she practiced. The breakthrough in brainwave power is indescribable to an individual. I can only try my best to explain it to you, because you can't have others explain how it feels when you use your hands and feet. Everyone has a different feelings and not being able to share them with others. Jia Yan looked at his niece and said solemnly. At this moment, he has no interest in his niece's promotion. As for Jia Yan at this moment, he wants to see if the brainwave power talent of the people on earth is really good. If I am not mistaken, Jia Yan once said this 10 years ago, that is, the brainwave power of the people on earth is very good, and among the people on earth, after 10 years of promotion of brainwave power, there have been many problems. Few top prefecture level masters can also prove this. But the real talent still depends on the race and how likely it is to break through. Jiakai's current strength is probably number one among the people on earth. This strength is obtained by too many factors, such as the help of those powerful aliens and the help of the Earth's overall materials, which has forced her to rise to the level of Earth's first status. But there are only Earth-level experts, no matter how many there are, it is useless. If there is no heaven level, or it is difficult for this race to break through the heaven level barrier, then the future path of the people on Earth will still be very difficult. The Bella tribe in the northern starfield and the Kudatan people who fled from the distant starfield have proven that their talents are not very good, and they seem to have a close blood relationship with the people on Earth. So the talents of the people on Earth are, if it's that bad, Jia Yan should have a headache. I observed Jia for most of the day. I know, just when Jia Yan wanted Jia to give up, he heard a shout of surprise from Jia. She seemed to have figured something out, and then a violent and powerful light shook from the surface of her body. Huh, Jia Yan released a brainwave power at this moment and directly resisted this power. What a powerful burst of power! Jia Yan's eyes were a little shocked. But the next moment, there was a hint of joy in his eyes. It turned out that he felt that under this explosion, Jia brainwave power broke through a faint level and reached the early stage of heaven level. That power is a kind of cosmic power that faintly explodes after reaching the heaven level, and it is also the power that Jiakai possesses. If Jia Yan didn't control it, this cultivation house might collapse. Fortunately, although this power is terrifying, it is nothing in front of Jia Yan. Uncle, have I been promoted? After the explosion, the little girl stared at her palms with big eyes and some surprise. Jiakai felt that she seemed different, but she couldn't tell what was different. She only felt that her strength was stronger, and her eyesight and body were lighter. Yes, it seems that you have been promoted. Very good, Kikai, you are already the #1 person on Earth. Jia Yan nodded with a smile. Where, isn't there Uncle Ju and you and Aunt? Jia Chu chuckled, but the next moment, she seemed to feel something. A strange light flashed past Jia Chi's eyes, and then her body flew gently off the ground. Ha ha ha, I can fly, uncle, look at it. Jia Chi was so happy that she danced in the sky. However, as happy as she was, tragedy still happened. By accident, Jia Chi fell to the ground with a big bulge on her head. Jia Yan wanted to help at this moment, but after his expression changed, he did not stop him. Extreme joy brings sorrow, right? Kikai, you need to know that the use of power requires methods and a degree. If you can't use the power well in the future, don't try it. I won't always be by your side to protect you. Understand? Are you done? Jia Yan asked Jia Chi, who was getting up from the ground with tears in her eyes. The Jia family has been having a lot of fun recently. After it was revealed that a strong man of great rank was actually in charge of the defense team, Ma also revealed that the eldest princess of the Jia family, Jia Chi, a girl who was only 11 years old, under the guidance of Namok, he surpassed all the people on Earth and was the first to be promoted to the heaven level. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 735. There are many planets and lives in the universe and starry sky. Although there are many lives and forces, it does not mean that there must be a battle between these lives, let alone a war. Because wars and battles only occur when there is profit. Without profit, the entire universe is too big, and no living thing will fight for just some living space. The Northern Star Territory should be like this, but in this star territory, wars are happening all the time, because this is a star territory bound by many forces and rules. There are countless forces and countries here, and everyone speaks for their own interests. The result is the outbreak of war. Even on the edge of the central area of the Northern Star Territory, which is not prone to war, there is a country at war. That is the Kingdom of Asia. This country is currently divided. The main force on one side is the original national force of Taia, and the other side is a powerful foreign force named Giant Mosquito Fleet. The most worrying thing about the Giant Mosquito Fleet is not the strength of his fleet, nor the fact that the fleet's commander-in-chief Kama Yao has the legendary commanding art from thousands of years ago. What is most terrifying and threatening to him is that this fleet seems to be getting more and more powerful. The most powerful person at the top is also the organizing entity of the entire fleet, the Giant Mosquito clan, Jia Yan. This was a powerful man who was so terrifying that he could kill even a venerable person. Some forces even secretly rumored that the last time this strong man fought was not just a simple venerable person, but also a powerful person. Guanqiang fought. If it is really as scary as the rumors, then this strong man will have to arouse the vigilance of the entire Northern Star Territory. You must know that the second pass strongman is already one of the few top strongmen in the Northern Star Territory. This if a person who claims to be a Giant Mosquito clan can use the strength of a high-level strongman to defeat a strong person in the second level, the meaning of that is definitely not as simple as a strong person in the second level defeating a strong person in the second level. You must know that this is a battle that can be won by crossing two levels. For a truly strong person, anyone who has reached this point is a real genius. And an existence that can cross two levels and defeat the strong person of the next level, that cannot be explained by genius. This must be possible with peerless talent and a terrifying inheritance. But if this is really the case, then the existence of this Giant Mosquito clan is not as simple as it seems on the surface. If he is promoted to the level of venerable, wouldn't it be possible for him to even be the top and most powerful in the Northern Star Territory? Can the terrifyingly powerful half-star level existence also pose a threat? Although no one would believe such a fantasy, in general, more and more forces are paying attention to the war in Tadia. In contrast, because of the terrifying power of this giant Mosquito clan, the forces that want to intervene in this war have become fewer and more vigilant. Because not every force has the confidence to face the wrath of a powerful person who may reach a semi-star level. But these forces who are increasingly worried about the giant Mosquito fleet do not know that the existence they are worried about, that is, the terrifying giant Mosquito clan, is currently in his lair on the Fire Star, just entrenched in a field of magma. I don't care about worldly affairs at all. At this moment, Jia Yan was surrounded by streams of magma, and most of his consciousness remained with his clone. The technology of this country of Tadia is really amazing. When I reached the point where my consciousness reached the clone, I almost forgot about my real body. Unfortunately, what's over there is just a clone, and my main existence is still here. Finally, at a certain moment, Jia Yan sighed softly, relaxed his mind a little from the clone, and relaxed. At this moment, Jia Yan was a little shocked. But among the shock, there was mostly surprise. Haha, you kid has been focusing on that every day these days. I haven't thought that this clone can actually improve your strength. Do you feel it? Your promotion level is here. As long as you break through this level, then that's the venerable. With your strength, after being promoted to the venerable level, it's not impossible to even have a slight encounter with that half-star level being. The light and shadow monster laughed excitedly inside Jia Yan's body. Am I going to be promoted to a venerable? Jia Yan has never thought about whether he will fail. With his talent and the guidance of the light and shadow monster, it is more difficult to fail in promotion, and Jia Yan's strength is also it's not that he can't bear the risk of failure, and it's not that he can't be promoted to the star level. As long as he grasps the situation well, then for him, being promoted to the venerable level is a very simple matter. I actually put my mind on the clone, and it can also improve my strength. This is simply, if you tell other existences, don't be so angry that you vomit blood. Jia Yan smiled speechlessly. In fact, he also knows that this is not because he can really practice quickly on the clone side, but because his strength has reached the important moment of the level. In the few days when he puts his mind on the clone side, he will instead focus on his real body. His mind was relaxed, which made the originally difficult level to be relaxed. Okay, hurry up and evacuate the people nearby, otherwise you will be hit by your promotion energy later, and you won't know how many people will die. Light, shadow, and light objects are also extremely excited about Jia Yan's promotion. Good. All the creatures on the Fire Star felt extremely at ease. They originally thought that after the planet was occupied by the giant Mosquito fleet, it would live a miserable life constantly being fought over by warships and strong men from both sides. Unexpectedly, the giant Mosquito fleet actually firmly controlled the power on the Fire Star. Moreover, although the overall strength of the giant Mosquito fleet is still slightly weaker than that of Tadia Kingdom, this giant Mosquito fleet has several advantages, and there is also a strong man who makes the top leaders of Tadia Kingdom unable to do anything, that is, in the supreme ruler of the giant Mosquito fleet on the Fire Star, Lord Jia Yan. This adult is in Huo Liaoxing at the moment. He even repelled a person who was rumored to be a powerful person from Sichuan. Although not many people believe it, the residents all know that with the existence of this adult, Huo Liaoxing there can never be any big war again. Unexpectedly, on this day, an emergency evacuation notice appeared again on Huo Liao Star, which had been peaceful. Fortunately, the area where the evacuation notice was issued is just a volcanic area, and there are not many permanent residents here. However, this evacuation notice attracted the attention of some people and some hidden power spies. What kind of tricks does Jia Yan want to do? Is it promotion? Impossible. If you have studied him, you will know that it has not been long since he was promoted to a high-level powerhouse. If he is promoted to a venerable man immediately, how can other powerhouses survive? Such a heaven-defying talent, even in the Northern Star it has never happened in the history of the domain. That's right, he can't be promoted. Maybe he wants to study something. I don't know what this guy is doing by jumping into the magma. He is in the magma every day. This endurance alone is not what ordinary strong people can do. Arrived, alas, it seems that we have really underestimated this outsider. Maybe in 100 or 200 years, the entire Northern Star territory will be in chaos because of the appearance of this guy. Haha, how is it possible? Before he grows up, he will definitely be killed by strong men from other forces. Now those top strong men have not appeared, just because the current Jia Yan is not worthy of their killing. He is just a genius who defeated a venerable. This often happens in our Northern Star territory. When he is really promoted to a venerable, if he has the ability to defeat a powerful person at the second level, he will be able to attract those top experts. Please pay attention. Some spies from various forces exchanged intelligence and analytical data. For some spies, they did not believe that telling Jia Yan about the existence of the Great War was a matter of rank and file. Of course, whether they believed it or not, the next scene where Jia Yan really made a breakthrough still shocked everyone. Boom 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 boom. Between the sky and the earth, streaks of lightning flashed down. Jia Yan, you don't have to worry. These thunder lights are just caused by the distortion of the universe caused by your breakthrough. A lot of your strength is now placed in space. At this moment, the universe itself is being transformed into subspace. The power of your promotion is vibrating, so this kind of lightning appears. Theoretically, they cannot do much harm to your promotion. A giant mosquito floated in the sky with its head held high, and its surroundings were filled with thunder and lightning. These thunder and lightning continued to explode and hit the surface of the mosquito's body, but they could not cause much damage to his body. What you need to endure is the fluctuation of your own strength. Huh. The light and shadow monster was about to say something, but its words were suddenly interrupted. Because when it saw Jia Yan at this moment, its eyes flashed, and then it flew into the magma. Then streams of abnormally colored mucus material surged out from the surface of his body. The mucus emerges and then directly swallows the surrounding magma. The energy material in the magma enters the giant mosquito's huge body along the channels in the mucus. Let me go, what is this? Why do I feel that the power in your body increases extremely quickly? Have you been promoted like this before? The light and shadow monster was stunned by what he saw in front of him. Then he felt the rapidly increasing power of Jia Yan, the big mosquito, and almost cursed. Is there such a way to be promoted in the world? To plunder energy? Oh my God, such a convenient method has reduced the risk of the originally dangerous promotion by 10 times. When other strong men see this scene, they will cry to death with envy. Ah! This guy not only has amazing talents, but also has this terrifying way of promotion. In addition, his fighting talent is also good. Oh, and his sense of survival is also very good. Is this a living thing? It's too perfect. Right. At this moment, the light, shadow, and light objects looked at Jia Yan with some envy and jealousy. Even he, the light and shadow monster, almost wanted to curse the universe for being unfair. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 736. Of course, the light and shadow monster doesn't know that Jia Yan, the person involved, even though he has a terrible talent, still has to go through many crises to reach this point. If he knows about Jia Yan's past experience, maybe his jealousy will be balanced. Not sure at all. Boom 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 boom. The shaking between heaven and earth became even more terrifying. But at this moment, Jia Yan only felt a kind of severe pain, eroding his whole body like a devouring one. This painful feeling is very familiar, or it can be said that Jia Yan's rebirth life has been accompanied by this feeling and gradually became stronger. The pain of promotion. The condensation slowly enveloped Jia Yan's whole body, and then a faint film suddenly appeared on his body. The film became thicker and thicker, and then slowly absorbed the material in the magma. At this moment, Jia Yan was not worried that there would be something wrong with his absorption, because in terms of the nature of his body, the mutation this time was not so powerful. There is no need for any unique devouring, and Jia Yan understands that there will be more and more similar mutations in the future, because his strength has reached a level that is difficult to be affected by matter. This is an indescribable feeling. Jia Yan understands that he does not need to swallow it. Perhaps it is because he has swallowed enough chaos stones when he mutated before, or it is just a unique phenomenon of being promoted to a venerable. In short, at this moment, he can understand that he only needs to the current magma material is enough. Jia Yan groaned in pain, and then waves of strength in his body slowly released and replaced his original body matter. The light and shadow monsters were almost amazed when they saw Jia Yan's changes. He originally thought that Jia Yan was just swallowing other substances to speed up his body's strength, but he did not expect that his entire body was undergoing complete changes, and even his organs were mutating. What race is this kid? Have I heard of this race? The giant mosquito race? Doesn't it come from the area I know? No, if there was such a powerful race, this race would have become famous throughout the world. It's a galaxy, but I've never heard of it. The light and shadow monster thought with some surprise. It didn't know that almost everyone knew that Jia Yan existed in the immortal arm. However, for ordinary evolved beasts, their path was too difficult. Jia Yan's the strength is due to the transformation of Naos, who does not know what means, and has become a safer promotion. For ordinary evolved beasts, it seems that reaching the heaven level is considered the peak, and then they will die in the pursuit of others. Otherwise, he would die in the process of promotion, so he would be unknown in the entire galaxy. As for Jia Yan's strength, he may be the most powerful evolved beast except for the powerful immortal arm evolved beast hundreds of thousands of years ago. Therefore, it is impossible for this light and shadow monster to know that there is any similar race, and the giant mosquito clan is just a race of Jia Yan until now. Of course, Jia Yan has no intention of explaining. For him, it makes no difference whether some things are said or not. The light and shadow monster is not the kind of being who is entangled in similar things. Slowly, the giant mosquito in the magma gradually turned into a huge cocoon. This huge cocoon was actually 100 or 200 meters long. The surrounding people had left long ago, but at this moment, the giant cocoon was still releasing terrifying power of shock, and the surrounding land seemed to be experiencing earthquakes of magnitude 3 or 4 all the time. Not only that, there is also the raging brainwave power that is constantly emitting randomly. This is not Jia Yan's deliberate action, but the fluctuation caused involuntarily during the body's promotion process. Jia Yan seemed to have no sense of consciousness at all. At this moment, he was completely fighting to the death with his pain and energy fluctuations. Not far from Hualioxing, a battleship quietly appeared in the smoke. Huh? This Jia Yan seems to be doing something. Promotion? Impossible. If his strength is promoted again, he will definitely surpass me. It must not be a promotion. He has only been promoted not long ago. How can he be promoted to the highest level? Or, could this be a conspiracy to lure me out? The smoke monster was now inside the battleship, looking in the direction of Huoliaoxing with some uncertainty. Naturally, he could feel the terrifying fluctuations caused by Jia Yan's promotion. This existence secretly hides away from the fire star, waiting for the opportunity. As a sub-level powerhouse, he is more passionate than any other powerhouse about the secret of being promoted to the star level. But now he hesitated. There is no other reason than Jia Yan's strength. He was also a little frightened. He had finally fought a draw with Jia Yan before, and then escaped back to the starry sky. The more he thought about it, the more frightened he became, because he confirmed that Jia Yan had lost a lot of money because he wanted to activate the clone. Even so, he still ran away. He couldn't even imagine how strong Jia Yan was in a state of complete victory. Although he thought again and again in his heart that a high-level starry sky-level powerhouse could not be that powerful, he still had a feeling in his heart that Jia Yan, a powerhouse, was a formidable enemy. At this moment, Jia Yan deliberately caused such a huge fluctuation. Was it to lure him down, or was he really making a breakthrough? If it was some kind of breakthrough, then he would have the opportunity to make a sneak attack, but if it was to deliberately attract him down, then it would be a bit dangerous. No, I have to try, otherwise I won't give in. After thinking for a long time, the strong man gritted his teeth and made a decision. No matter what Jia Yan was doing, he was a little worried that if Jia Yan was allowed to get stronger like this, he might not be able to deal with this guy alone. Even if it was dangerous at this moment, he still had to try. Boom. When this strong man piloted his battleship and flew over the fire star, suddenly, an unknown and terrifying brainwave force vibrated, impacting from below the earth. Boom 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 boom. When the strong man's face changed drastically, he felt that this inexplicably terrifying strong man just controlled his power on his battleship. Then his battleship shook violently, and even his body instantly seemed to be shaking. He was restrained so hard that he couldn't move. This. A star-level existence, this light and shadow monster almost felt as if his heart was ashes in an instant. How did he know that there was a star-level power on this fire star? His strength is at the level of a star, let alone powerful. People might be able to kill him easily with just a thought. The monster was shocked, but it only felt the star-level power for an instant, but this power was obviously powerless. After a flash, it completely disappeared. It seemed that it could still feel the power being broken directly. Feel. The smoke monster felt his body with some confusion. It seemed that what he had seen before was just an illusion. There was no damage to his body, and the battleship did not appear unexpectedly. It seems that the first interpretation is really just his own dream. But the feeling still really stayed in his body, and he was still trembling at this moment. This sense of power, I seem to have heard that this strong man of the giant Mosquito clan is watched by a great being. Is this the existence of this kind of power? But I can feel that the strength of the other party is definitely not subversive. Feng, if you want to use a metaphor, is at most a weak strong man. This strong man thought he saw the strength of that great being, but he still didn't dare to take action. Even if the opponent is just a strong man who can only deliver one blow at most, this blow is not something I can withstand. It seems that I have to think about it in the long run. This Jia Yan actually has a weak and great being. No, it seems that although this strong man is powerful, he does not break away from the category of star level. Great existence can only be called a strong man who transcends star level. It seems that the indigenous strong men of the deserted galaxy have mistaken the greatness. The definition of existence. The smoke expert understood at this moment that Jia Yan seemed to have really entered a special state. He did not believe that the other party was getting promoted, but he might be practicing a certain move. There was a high possibility that he would become more powerful in the future. But he has this weak star-level guardian. Even if the opponent can only use one blow, it is not something he can deal with. Jia Yan, although I am not willing to give in. But since you are still protected by a strong person of this level, then I can only invite the strong person. In this northern star field, there are people who want to be promoted to the stellar level. As many as you want. The battleship hovered over the fire star for a moment before taking off directly. This time it was no longer hidden, but swaggered, flying directly away from the Huo Liao star area, heading directly towards the central area of the Northern Star Territory. Just after he left, in the magma land on the Fire Star. Oh, I finally used my strength to scare him away. If I really have to use a blow, I won't be willing to do it. I still want to watch this child grow. The light and shadow monster said in a weak voice. There was a soft sound in the magma, and then it seemed that the power was used excessively, and he immediately fell into a deep sleep. Jia Yan didn't know what was happening at this moment, he was just immersed in his promotion. What the light and shadow monster doesn't know is that at this moment, under the influence of some mysterious mind, it has not severed the connection with the clone. No. It should be said that his true body at this moment has been completely lost due to body reorganization. Thinking, the main thought has actually become placed on the clone. I can only vaguely feel the existence of my real body. Earth, outside the Geo family. Jia Yan's clone opened his eyes in shock. At this moment, due to the deep sleep of his real body, his feeling for the clone became as if it was the only body, and the sense of reality became even stronger. Okay, this situation will be treated as a leave during my promotion. It turns out that the clone still has this function, which is good. Jia Yan thought for a while, then smiled lightly. Mobile phone users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. Reborn as an Interstellar Giant Mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 737. After completely letting go of matters in the Northern Star Territory, Jia Yan can concentrate on handling some matters on Earth. Uncle, look, look. Little Jiakai's happy voice sounded, and she saw this little girl controlling her body and flying in the sky. Jia Yan looked at her, and then showed a smile of relief. This niece understood his teachings very quickly, at least she didn't have to fly normally for many days. Just 2 days before Jia Yan was busy with the promotion of his real body, the Jia family held a grand banquet for Jia Qi's promotion. The attendees were all prominent figures on the earth, or in other words, ordinary presidents and leaders of the country, and they were not here at all. Even if you can't get in line, even the commander-in-chief of the Earth fleet, Carrie, has arrived. But people discovered that the person they really wanted to see, the person who was rumored to be the strongest person on Earth, Moke, was not there. Many high-level people on Earth were a little disappointed. For the people on Earth, Jia Qi can take the lead and become a powerful heaven-level being. It is something worth being excited about for the entire Earth people race. But for the people on Earth, what they really need is MOK. It is the existence that can truly determine the war. Of course, Jia Qi's promotion is also an exciting thing for countless people. It represents the talent of people on Earth and can reach the heaven level. A few days later, Jia Qi was able to fly freely in front of Jia Yan, and flying under normal planet gravity was a manifestation of heaven-level strength. The Earth's gravity is considered medium among ordinary terrestrial planets, so Jia Qi can barely fly at this moment. If it is a planet with a greater gravity like a gray-yellow star, it will take some more practice. Okay, don't act coquettishly with your uncle. Your strength is still far away. If you can't display your true heaven-level strength, you will never be a truly strong person, Jia Yan said to his niece sternly. This day was still a day for teaching the existence of my niece, but Jia Yan had something on his mind. For him, he doesn't know how many years it will take to wait for the people on Earth to become stronger. And in fact, there is one thing that Jia Yan has not told others, that is, he really feels that the fighting talent of the people on Earth cannot be said to be worse than that of the Bella tribe and the Kudatan tribe, but it is not much different, that is, the future strength of the people on Earth will not be too weak in the entire Yingxian arm, but it will not be too strong either. The advantage of Earth compared to those two races is that Jia Yan is a terrifying being. Another advantage is that the immortal arm is not strong as a whole. Therefore, when the people of Earth develop in the future, they will at least be able to become a moderately powerful race. Of course, Jia Yan didn't want to wait any longer. He wants the race on Earth to become stronger immediately. If the overall strength is not good, he will use his personal strength to forcibly upgrade the strength of the Earth's race to the level of a powerful race within the arms of the immortals. Although a strong civilization has countless disadvantages, it is better than not even having a strong one. Just like the Earth before, if Jia Yan had not been rescued a few times, it might have perished long ago. Humph, Rulan civilization, and Asta civilization. Jia Yan's eyes flashed with something strange. At this moment, Jia Qi, who was teaching, seemed to feel a terrible pressure. Fortunately, this pressure only passed by in an instant. The little girl couldn't help but feel a little discouraged. She thought that she had improved a big level and might be able to see the power of her uncle. But now she was just inadvertently shocked by his pressure, but she could feel the strong feeling on Jia Yan's body. The still unfathomable strength made her a little depressed. But even though she was depressed in her heart, Jia Qi also had a way to vent her anger, because although this strong man was invincible, he could win like a coquettish person. Jia Yan felt helpless after that. He didn't know what happened. His niece became more powerful and acted more coquettishly. And just after today. A certain place on Earth, this is an extremely secret place. Countless scientists are constantly working on scientific and technological research here, and some development matters are also passed on through here. If the Earth fleet is the most powerful entity in the hands of the Earth today, then this place at this moment is another important place next to the Earth fleet. My lord, I don't know if he has come back. With the appearance of Moke, the status of our group of assassin lord subordinates seems to have become a little embarrassing. No one thought that there is such a terrifying strong man on the Earth. There are rumors that the other party is a strong man who left the Earth early, and there are many versions of novels on sale. There was a being who looked like a big frog. He was cleaning the files in his hands while he was bored and grumbling. Next to him, there is another alien existence. This existence's body is like a noodle. If you remember it, you will know that he is the person Jia Yan relied on when he was on the Grey Star. Noodle Man, Fuda. Facing the frog man's doubts, Fuda was also a little helpless. He seemed to have difficulty accepting the looks in the eyes of the people on Earth around him at this moment, because there seemed to be a strong man among the people on Earth, and there were faint comments from some people on Earth. They have a different look at these outsiders. Forget it, that existence is not a hostile person to us at least now, and he has been unwilling to appear in public. To us, he might be a friendly existence, Fuda sighed and said. Yes, Fuda, you are right. I am really friendly to you. Suddenly, a voice appeared beside the two alien beings. Who? Fuda was shocked in his heart. This place is one of the two most heavily guarded forbidden areas on Earth. Apart from saying anything else, he only said that his own strength is at the heaven level. Who on Earth can be so powerful that he can't tell the difference between gods and ghosts? Did you feel like coming to him? When Fuda turned around, he was shocked to find that behind them was a young man who looked ordinary, but actually looked a little more like a mysterious earthling. The man just stood casually behind the two of them, and then looked at the surrounding scenery. Fuda, you have done a good job and managed the Earth very well. I am very satisfied, the man said with some praise. Who is your excellency? Fuda looked at the other party in surprise, his thoughts rapidly unfolding in his heart. Not long after, he had already guessed a little bit of the other party's identity. Sure enough, after he asked this question, the young man turned back and looked at the alien noodle man who was no different from 10 years ago. My current name is Mok, but I had other names before that. Do you want to know? The man said with a slight smile. Is he Mok? Hearing what this man said, Fuda, who was already somewhat mentally prepared, still took a breath of air. The frog monster on the other side was even more surprised at this moment and put down the communicator that he quietly opened in his hand. The shadow of the famous tree, as a person who helped the Earth fleet survive the previous crisis, although he has not appeared on official occasions. Even how he rescued the Earth fleet and how he killed a semi-combat aircraft carrier was all because of the soldier on the front line has not returned. No one knows it at this moment, but his strength is definitely known to everyone. That is this being. He is definitely not an ordinary strong man. Even according to the few words and descriptions from the front line, his strength is only stronger than the assassin, the strong man of the giant Mosquito clan back then. He may not even be stronger. Half a point. So facing this existence, Fuda and Big Frog could only let it be slaughtered at this moment. Although in terms of body shape and appearance, these two could swallow this tiny earthling whole without spitting out bones, but strength is strength. No. He said it was just one of his names, and he also asked me about my previous name. So that means I recognized him from before. Who could it be? Is there anyone so terrifying among the existences I knew before, Fuda, as expected of a master whose brains are not inferior to those of Defune? At this moment, he changed his mind and had an idea. But is this possible? He thought of that idea, but was easily overturned by himself. Fortunately, Jia Yan didn't give in, but shook his head and figured out the answer himself. Fuda, thank you for sticking to my orders for so many years. Now don't worry. There is no need to worry about intruders on Earth. You just need to help me develop and build the technology industry. Fuda was really stunned at this moment. What he thought before was actually true. Are you a master assassin? Fuda asked in shock. Haha, it's me, and it's not me. The reasons are very complicated. In short, just treat me as the original assassin. Jia Yan smiled and nodded. I see, I know. How could such a terrifying existence be so good to the people on Earth? How could such a terrifying existence appear randomly among the people on Earth, Fuda? It seems that something has been figured out at this time. It is possible for powerful beings to appear among the people on Earth. Fuda, you said it before. Jia Yan's voice sounded at the right time, interrupting Fuda's soliloquy. Okay, I came to see you today, not for anything else, but to see if you have any star maps or anything like that. Especially the star maps and customs of the Rulan Empire and the Asta Empire, Jia Yan said calmly. Fuda, who had not yet recovered from the fact that Moke was an assassin, was shocked again at this moment. He looked at Jia Yan in disbelief, and then asked with difficulty. Dare I ask, my lord, do you want to cause trouble for them? Yes, come to trouble the two empires, he asked cautiously, a little unbelievable. Reborn as an Interstellar Giant Mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 738. Even at this moment, Fuda already understood that Jia Yan was the assassin back then, and his strength had also improved greatly. But he still couldn't believe that there was something that could cause trouble for an empire-level country. Wasn't this kind of thing only possible for a starry sky beast? Although he doesn't know what level the starry sky behemoth is, he also knows that the starry sky behemoth is above the starry sky level. Is it possible for Jia Yan, who has become thin and thin at this moment, to do something similar? Haha, yes, these two empires are a bit too annoying. Although I have not reached the level of a starry sky beast, I must be close enough to cause trouble for them. In short, you just need to prepare the qualifications I need. Jia Yan looked at this subordinate, and then said confidently. Fuda was dumbfounded and couldn't believe it. This human being told him that he was the big mosquito, and he couldn't believe it. But then this being actually said that he wanted to go alone. If he hadn't caused trouble for the two empires, he might not be able to understand the situation at all if his mind hadn't been spinning so fast. Fortunately, he was not an ordinary alien creature. After seeing that he was a little confused at this moment, he nodded directly. Regarding the information about the two empires, because they have been the main opponents for more than 10 years, although they are only fighting against the partial divisions of the two empires, the Earth fleet has still collected a lot of information about the two empires themselves. After sorting out the information and handing it to Jia Yan, Fuda saw the man in front of him disappear in front of him in a flash. Jia Yan's strength naturally easily reached the level where he could make this heaven-level being look like a god. As for his news, not many people still know about it at this moment. Including Earthlings and aliens, they all think that he has nothing to do with the previous big mosquito. But at this moment, Jia Yan appeared in front of Fuda and revealed that the mentality of both will be improved to a certain extent. After all, the number of aliens on the Earth is very small, and there is not much competition for interests between them and the people on Earth. As long as some high-level ideas are improved, stability can be achieved. Come down. And Jia Yan returned to the Geo family. At this moment, his mind can be almost completely focused on the clone. Some things can be completed at this moment, because Jia Yan can feel that there may be sharp fire and wolf smoke next to the real body. After all, the sequelae of that strong person from the next level are too dangerous. Jia Yan, an outsider, cannot be at ease for too long. So he wants to take advantage of the crisis over there to relieve the crisis on the Earth and the solar system before it breaks out. The simplest and most direct and effective way to eliminate these two dangers is to go to the lair of the two enemies and carry out some demonstrative punishment. "Uncle, I'm here." Just when Jia Yan returned to Jia's house, a house was arranged for him to live. Not long after, he heard Jia Qi's naughty voice. Although this little girl is already in the upper grades of elementary school, her personality is still a bit like that of a child, jumping around all day long. "Uncle, I'm bringing my brother here to play. Please see if he's okay." Jia Qi was holding a little boy in her hand, looking at Jia Yan with a nervous smile and a flattering look. The child's idea was simple. She thought there was some gap between Jia Yan and her aunt. So she wanted to ease the relationship between the two people, and her aunt had just asked her to play with her younger brother, so now she brought her smart younger brother to her uncle's place. Jia Yan just wanted to open the star map and take a look, but at this moment he reluctantly put it down. He looked at the 3 or 4-year-old boy that Jia Qi was holding. This child looked so much like himself, or in other words, he was almost born by copying his appearance when he was a child. "Kikai, don't hold him back. He's even stronger than you, so why should you hold him back?" Jia Yan shook his head. "But I have to take good care of my brother," Jia Qi said, unwilling to show weakness. The little boy looked at Jia Yan, then at Jia Qi, then nodded to Jia Qi and said, "Sister Kikai, I am better than you, don't hold me back." After saying that, he broke free from Jia Qi's fingers. The little boy's eyes are very transparent and seem to contain endless wisdom. He walked up to Jia Yan and looked at Jia Yan with his big eyes, as if he was looking at a strange animal. "Are you my father? You seem to be different from the father played on TV, and you are also different from Sister Kikai's father," he said calmly. "I'm not your father," Jia Yan looked at him and replied. "But my mother said you are my father," the little boy retorted with a frown. Although he is smart, he still doesn't understand many profound things because he is too young after all. Jia Yan's head grew into two. He had avoided seeing this child recently. After all, he didn't know what expression to use to see him. He said it was his child. It looked a little weird. He said he wasn't his child. Maybe he would verify it? DNA or something, maybe it has something to do with it, and he doesn't know how to explain it himself. What your mother said is wrong. In short, I can't be counted as your father. Do you understand? Jia Yan sighed helplessly. I understand. Did my mother give birth to me with another man, and you are not my father? The little boy came to Jia Yan with an innocent look. But soon he shook his head again. But I think you are my father. You have the same flavor as my mother. I like being with you very much, he said in a sweet voice. Looking at the child's innocent expression, Jia Yan smiled bitterly and didn't know what words to use to refute him. Okay, you just think I'm your father. Do you and Sister Kikai come here today to play some games? Jia Yan spoke to him without resistance for the first time. Well, Sister Kikai couldn't beat me yesterday. She said that Daddy, you are very powerful, even more powerful than my mother. I don't believe it. I want to see if I can beat you, the little boy said seriously. Jia Yan was startled, and then saw a hint of fighting intent in the child's eyes. Okay, I will suppress my strength to the same early stage as you. If you can hit any other part of my body except the palm, you will win, Jia Yan said. Okay, if Sister Kikai says that I win, she will give me her chocolate. Dad, don't cry if you lose. Powerful energy fluctuations surged through the little boy's body, as if a piece of chocolate gave him endless power. I told you not to call me Daddy. Oh, forget it. Jia Yan shook his head helplessly and refused to correct the child's name. In fact, he was also a little curious. The Satsuma temple said that this child would be very powerful, but when he actually saw it, Jia Yan only understood that his talent was amazing. Less than 4 years after he was born, he already had a heaven-level talent. With such strength, it is said that he entered the heaven level 3 months ago, which even alerted the top brass of the entire Earth fleet to come to congratulate him. Although this talent is not as good as Jia Yan's back then, the other person is actually a child. He was able to reach the heavenly level within more than 3 years of his birth, which shows how powerful his talent is. Jia Yan just wanted to see if he had the potential to enter the starry sky level in the future. Coming outside the house, Jia Yan asked uncertainly. By the way, your name is Rong, right? Jia Rong, because he had never wanted to face the child before, Jia Yan didn't officially know his name. Well, my name is Jia Rong, Dad. Anyway, you have to be careful with my attacks, and don't cry if it hurts. The little boy waved his arms more than 2 meters away from Jia Yan, and then moved his calf. However, Jia Yan asked him several times not to call him Dad, which seemed to make him a little angry. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure flashed. Puff! This kid is extremely fast and explosive. Almost in the blink of an eye, he was in front of Jia Yan. However, Jia Yan could easily follow his attack, even if he suppressed his own strength to the early stage of heaven level. A palm gently blocked the little boy's fist, and the child felt that his power was easily resolved. Instantly, his expression changed a little, because he knew that if his mother used the strength of the middle level heaven level, she could suppress him like this, but if her mother suppressed him to the early level heaven level, it would not be so easy to win against him. It's simple, and this dad who suddenly appeared seems to be able to suppress him easily using his strength at the early stage of heaven level. After attacking with 2 punches and 3 kicks in succession, the ground made a bang 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 sound, and little Jiakai looked on the other side dizzy. Jiachi has long known that her strength is much higher than that of her brother who is many years younger. However, after she was promoted to the heaven level before, she was unwilling to give in and fought with this brother who was said to be extremely talented. The situation at that time was only it can be described as miserable. His little cousin, who seemed to be only as high as his belly button, actually defeated her easily. But now this little cousin whom she thought was very powerful, under the hands of her uncle Jia Yan, she simply neutralized his attack as if he were teasing a child. Looking at the ground again, it seemed that Jia Yan deliberately guided the opponent's attack. There should have been some big holes in the ground, but there was no damage at all. Of course Jia Yan was just teasing a child. His vision and strength had long surpassed those of the powerful beings in Yingxian's arms. For him, even if his strength was suppressed to the earth level at this moment, it would still be easy. He suppressed Xiao Rong in front of him, just to give this seemingly competitive kid some face, so he deliberately didn't do that. The sound of tom 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 passed for a long time, and the little boy saw that he could not take advantage of it. He rolled and flew into the sky. His strength is at the heaven level, and he naturally possesses powerful flying ability. It flew a full 300 meters, then adjusted its position, then shouted yeah and rushed towards Jia Yan's position at a speed that almost reached the speed of sound. He is serious about this. Jia Yan still stood where he was. In fact, his footsteps had not moved since the beginning of the war. The little boy's fist rushed towards his chest with huge inertia. It seemed that if he didn't dodge, Jia Yan's whole body would be penetrated by the fist. Thanks to the book friend The Miserable Aquarius 2000 for the 2000 starting coin reward, thank you. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 739. But at the same time, a big right hand gently stretched out. Puff. This right hand blocks the small fist. The palms of his hands came first and grabbed the little boy's two fists with lightning speed. And there was a gentle force that gently held the child, and then put him down from the air. The owner of the palm was naturally Jia Yan. At this moment, he was looking at the child, and he just gently grabbed his little fist with his palm. After putting it down on the ground, he said directly, "Okay, it seems that I have won. Your sister, I can't eat any more chocolate." Jia Rong's eyes turned red. He knew that there was really a big gap between him and the man who called him his father. It was obvious that he was just playing around with a child. "What? I didn't bully you, and you still want to cry?" Jia Yan gave a helpless smile. Unexpectedly, these words seemed to stimulate the child, and he couldn't help but shed tears. "You bully mom," Jia Rong shouted. Jia Yan looked at him speechlessly, wondering why the child, who seemed very smart and mature, suddenly cried. The little boy cried louder and louder, as if he wanted to vent his unwillingness and emotions. "You also said that you didn't bully my mother, and she was so angry that you cried. I want to become stronger, I want to protect my mother, and others think we are weird. It's all your fault. I want to become better than you. Be strong, and then I won't let you bully mom." The little boy really doesn't understand anything as he appears. Listening to his crying, you can tell that even though he is young, he can already understand the treatment and attention he receives in Jia's family. "You don't let me call you daddy, and I don't want to either. I'm going to surpass you, and then I'll make you apologize to your mother." Woo-hoo-hoo. Jia Yan fell silent. He didn't expect that the child would say that the Satsumanich would also cry. Jia Rong was still making trouble, but he stood up and walked to his residence. Jia Yan knew that he had hurt the child's heart, but it was difficult for him to accept the child and the wife who came by himself. "Want to surpass me? Then you have to work hard. Your strength is far worse than mine." Jia Yan left the child's back with an extremely desolate look. "However, you can use the name Jia Rong," he said. Then the door of the house was closed directly. From that day on, Jia Rong never appeared near Jia Yan's house again. Although they all knew that with Jia Yan's strength, it was very simple for the entire Jia family to know any troubles, but Jia Rong, the child Rong's hatred for Jia Yan has become deep-rooted, and he will never show his face in front of Jia Yan again. Jia Yan knew that what he did was wrong, and he also knew that he seemed to have adopted an unwise way of confrontation, but he really couldn't let go of things that he couldn't let go of. If a strong person reaches a certain level, if he can't even follow his heart, then it can't be so powerful. If you want him to change his mind, you may have to wait for him to relax. "Uncle, why did you ask me to come here today?" 2 days later, Jia Qi came to Jia Yan. At this moment, the little girl seemed to have no good feelings towards Jia Yan. She didn't know what happened to her uncle's family. She only knew that her little cousin was the one who lived in the past and the day after. He has been immersed in crazy cultivation. He is obviously just a child, more than 3 years old, an ordinary child, who has just entered kindergarten, but he already knows a lot of things and is very well behaved. Jia Kai can't understand why this uncle doesn't like it. His own son. Kikai, Uncle knows that you are a little angry with Uncle because of my family's affairs. Don't think so much. Uncle has some special reasons. It's not that I don't like your cousin. Anyway, I will find a way to solve this problem after a while. It's about something. I came to you today to tell you that my uncle is going on a long trip starting today. Don't be naughty at home and practice more, you know. Jia Yan dropped the topic of Jiarong and then ordered. Okay, uncle, are you going to the edge of the solar system again? I still want to go, can you take me? Jia Qi was still a child after all, and was immediately attracted by Jia Yan's topic. No, I'm going to a farther place this time, and I can't take you there. Let's talk about it later when we have the chance. Jia Yan shook his head. The news that Mok wanted to punish the two empires, whether it was intentional or unintentional, spread throughout the entire Earth in just a few days. There are countless issues unfolding in the media, and some special guests have appeared in the camera. Some of them deny this hypothesis, and some are about the existence of Mok. If it is really possible to punish the two empires, the feasibility exactly how big is discussed. In general, this issue is just spreading rumors. We have just summarized several major issues. The biggest issue is whether this being is strong enough if he wants to punish the two empires. After all, these two empires, its power is completely incomprehensible to us people on Earth. Coupled with the more realistic navigation problem, it will take hundreds of years for Lord Mok to go to the nearest Rulan Empire and use the fastest aircraft on Earth. It's impossible for Sir Bai to spend so much time doing this kind of thing, right? And where is the driving force for him to do this? No, I think what you said is not a problem. The power of this strong man is beyond the imagination of us people on Earth. As for the driving force, I think if he is really one of us people on Earth lost in the universe, isn't it normal for a strong man to have hatred for the two empires that destroyed his homeland? Also, as for the way of flying, people can fly back to the Earth from the universe. In addition, he took the eldest princess Jia Qi of the Jia family there before. It only took a few days to reach the distant edge of the solar system. Do you think he would not have his own aircraft? So I think the things that have been rumored recently are very possible. Yes, there is no smoke without fire. TV media outlets are constantly debating. There are countless versions of discussions on whether Mok, a powerful man, will punish the two empires. Of course, the general public is more than happy for such remarks. After all, such a powerful existence on the Earth can make such remarks spread. As for whether Jia Yan will really go to crusade against the two empires, they don't care. But on this day, the man wearing the mask really appeared in front of the public. Yes, Jia Yan really showed up. In full view of everyone, he entered the Earth Alliance headquarters in Shanghai. Not long after, the Earth Alliance headquarters broke a piece of news that shocked the entire Earth and could not believe it. The most powerful man on Earth now, Master Mok, in his own name, requests the Earth Alliance to issue the most severe condemnation of the two empires, Rulan Empire and Asta Empire, and to demand war compensation. Documents. I hereby order the powerful Mok of Earth to hand over the person who submitted the document of denunciation, as well as all diplomatic matters, to Lord Mok for his final decision. If the two empires refuse to allow it, then, it will be equal to our Earth Alliance. Declaring war, we, the Earth Alliance, will use our entire nation to conquer the two empires. When the chief diplomat of the Earth Alliance, using his usually smart but stuttering eloquence at the moment, spoke this war compensation document in front of the world's media, his body trembled slightly. If this document is released and the two empires know about it, God knows how the two empires will react. Are the people on Earth really powerful enough to use the whole country to fight against others? This diplomat understood very well that the people on Earth could not even figure out where the two empires were. Let alone start a war with others, just flying to the areas controlled by others would take more than a few hundred years. But he didn't dare not read this document, because this was a new strong man who appeared on the earth, and it was also proposed by MOK. Moreover, in this document, it was clearly stated for the first time that MOK was a human from Earth. Such a powerful Earthling. When they saw this document, the first thought of several of the most powerful leaders on Earth was surprise. But when MOK said that he was an Earthling, they felt a sense of surprise. The feeling of a strong backer. With such a powerful being, why should we be afraid of war? But does this strong man really want to go to the land of the two empires to conduct war and conquest? The future of the Earth is really hard to say. Okay, you did a good job. When the situation of appearing in front of the media was almost over, Jia Yan stepped forward. He was followed by a group of trembling leaders of the Earthlings. After Shanghai became the first emerging center for Earthlings, the entire Earth Alliance placed its headquarters here, so you can see most of the Earthlings' leaders here at any time. At this moment, these leaders have an unbelievable idea about the strong man MOK, because before, he actually said, "The reason why I issued this document is because I don't want the people on Earth to suddenly accept a large number of when it came time to pay reparations, I couldn't react." His sense of words seemed to confirm that when he handed over the documents this time, he would really ask for a large amount of compensation. Is it true that the existence of MOK, who is said every day in the media, is going to cause trouble for the two empires? A famous leader finally understood why this recent issue had instantly detonated the entire media and the internet, because it might have been the private instruction of this adult. Okay, don't worry. When I come back, I will bring a large amount of supplies, plus countless technologies and talents. Jia Yan didn't seem to notice the worries of these leaders, and just told them to relax at the moment. Not long after, Jia Yan, under the gaze of countless people, slowly flew into the sky from the center of Shanghai, where the Earth Alliance headquarters was located. Everyone knows that this being is going to the two empires that have brought endless suffering to the people of the Earth to collect war compensation. And it's just one person. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 740. The solar system is located in the Perseus arm, specifically a spiral arm called the Orion arm. In this starry sky, the sun is just a small place in the spiral arm. To the stars in the entire spiral arm, she is just a member of thousands of star systems. There's nothing unique about it, it just seems to be a very ordinary galaxy. Not only is it unattractive to several major empires, but even to some small interstellar civilizations with small territories, it is not attractive enough. The reason is that the civilization in this star field is not enough for long voyages. If the speed of spaceships and warships can be faster, even reaching the level of prosperous places such as the northern star field, then the situation may be different. As for why the two empires wanted to compete for this solar system, it was just because they found the material they wanted there, which was the azure substance they called star condensation. Of course, these two empires did not pay much attention to the war in the distant solar system. For such two huge empires, their strength has long been no longer too much to worry about in general crises. After all, these two empires, the Great Empire has destroyed or merged with dozens of civilizations, if not 100. As for the extremely distant Earth, it is not an existence that they want to annex at the moment. They only reported that star-condensed minerals were discovered on that distant planet, and then there were no reports. Too much content. If the astral matter on the Earth is really the material they urgently need, then these two empires definitely do not have such an attitude. Presumably astral matter is important to them, and they are not extremely eager for it. Jia Yan made extensive reports on the two empires at this moment in the media on Earth, but was not known by the two empires. Even closer to the Earth is the Rulan Empire. As far as the solar system is concerned, the territory of the Rulan Empire is not far away. In terms of the frontier, it is only about a dozen light years. But these dozen light years are like Rulan Empire. It is a place that is difficult to reach with the hands of the Lan Empire. After all, for the existence of this starry sky, stretching their arms too far will restrict their own strength. Only the technology of the Northern Star region and other places can control a large area of the territory as an empire. What's more, in these places where several forces compete, there are still wars going on. Many empires and the biochemical empire are competing here with the Rulan Empire and the Asta Empire. For them, the little bit of star condensation on the Earth at this moment is not enough for them to take risks and launch an army to collect it. However, these two empires obviously did not expect that because of this partial action, there was actually a terrifying being who was angry with these two empires. At this moment, he was driving his own super-fast aircraft, carrying the indigenous civilization of Earth. War compensation documents are coming quickly to the two empires. 15 light-years away from the Earth, this is the most peripheral territory of the Rulan Empire. It is called the Western region within the Rulan Empire. This Western region is like a star cluster. The entire Western region is basically as large as the Northern Star region where Jia Yan stayed before, and this is only 1/5 of the Rulan Empire. If it were not limited to the speed of the spaceship, the Rulan Empire's military might even have the ability to actually open the country's gates all the way to the Earth. But in fact, this empire has been militaristic for too long. For thousands of years, they have been expanding their territories since they became an interstellar empire. As a result, the entire empire is limited by communication and troop transportation difficulties. In fact, several major territories, there is already a status quo of doing things independently. On this day, a fast aircraft traveling in the twisted space arrived at the defensive planet at the very edge of the Rulan Empire. The so-called Xingtu is the name of the border planet of the Rulan Empire. Unlike the technology of the Northern Star territory, the Rulan Empire is obviously unable to develop all the planets within the territory, let alone have such a huge population to carry out all transformation and immigration. Therefore, within this empire, most of the planets are empty, and some planets are inhabited by a small number of soldiers and civilians. The same is true for the planets of Xingtu. The aircraft that came to the edge of the planet Saturn seemed to suddenly appear in the void and appeared in space in an instant. However, the detector on the planet Saturn did not detect the aircraft here. There is no other reason. It is precisely that the technology of this aircraft exceeds that of the detectors on the planet Saturn. It is too far away and is too small. With such a distance of several hundred kilometers, the other party does not find it, or even if it does, it will only be treated as if it were found. It is possible to create a small interstellar substance. This small spaceship presents a streamlined shape as a whole, and most of its structure has a special effect of distorting space. For the existence of the immortal arm at this moment, there is not much possibility to crack it. After all, this is a super high-tech item from the prosperous star field. After the aircraft arrived in the starry sky, a tiny creature suddenly flew out of it. This creature has a head and limbs, and a head of thick black short hair. Although he does not look heroic, his demeanor has a secret and terrifying feeling. This unique demeanor, if a starry sky-level powerhouse sees his face, they will know that it is the talent of a top powerhouse. Some momentum. That's right, he is Jia Yan. Well, is this planet Xingtu number 75? The Rulan Empire occupies such a large area of the star field, but it does not make good use of it, and it also wants to rob the Earth's home system. It is a bit too much. But their products and the star field is vast, which is beneficial to my operation this time, because I can make more attacks depending on the situation. No, it is to ask for more war reparations. After Jia Yan flew out of the spaceship, he looked at the huge planet over there and muttered to himself indifferently. Flying in the starry sky has long been nothing to him now. At this moment, he only relies on the spacecraft to carry him to this distant starry sky. At this moment, he has reached a destination. He found a safe place and put down the spacecraft. Of course, we now call it a spaceship, but in fact, the real name of this spaceship should be a space capsule. After activating the hidden function of the space capsule, he flew directly to the planet Xingtu. The speed of Jia Yan's clone is actually not much different from that of his main body, especially in the starry sky. Because of the difference in weight, he can use weaker brainwave power in the vacuum to accelerate his body to a speed that is not too slow. Degree. A distance of several hundred kilometers can be reached in just a short moment. On the planet Xingtu number 75, there is a small fleet. This fleet of the Rulan Empire guarding the border has been here for 10 years. They originally fought on another marginal planet not far away, but after a failure 10 years ago, the Starry Sky Fleet retreated here, and they felt like they had been abandoned. If this fleet talks about their origins, Jia Yan might still have some impressions. Because they were exactly 10 years ago, he was conducting a fleet to protect the interests of the Rulan Empire in the star field near the gray-yellow star not far from here. This fleet had also met Jia Yan, but at this moment, Jia Yan might have forgotten them. "Commander, our supplies are low again." When those guys from the military headquarters saw that it was our fleet, they deducted 1/3 of it. "Commander, let's go to the higher level and sue them." In this fleet, there are a lot of uncomfortable remarks being made at this moment. The entire fleet is no longer the arrogant person it was on the gray-yellow star 10 years ago when it comes to outside civilizations and races. At this moment, they are like abandoned domestic dogs, huddled in a corner of the world in great embarrassment, and from time to time got kicked. But there are still some leaders in this fleet at this moment. The captain of the entire fleet is one such creature. He is a giant centipede-like life form that is almost 20 meters long. In the past, he faced the powerful evolved beast on the Grey Star. At that time, he was also the one who contributed the most to combat strategies. But he failed in that battle, and even the hidden power of the fleet was discovered by the Asta Empire. After that, their life was not easy. In order to maintain its power and interests in that star field, the Asta Empire fleet launched in order to gain strength. He gathered the warships of several interstellar forces and drove them out directly. As a result, the fleet that fell to the border of the Rulan Empire was assigned to defend the border and became a marginal army that never fought again. Don't worry, the core combat capability of our fleet has not been lost. As long as we wait for the opportunity, we will be able to rise again. Commander Centipede comforted his subordinates. Sir, an unknown life reaction was discovered high in the sky on the planet, and he is extremely fast. It seems that he is a strong man who can cross the starry sky. Suddenly, a soldier shouted alarming words to the captain in fear. Huh? A strong man? It just so happens that we suffered a loss at the hands of a strong man and were sent here. Don't worry about the origin of this strong man. Killing him is our credit. The military commander was holding his breath at the moment. He just heard the news that a strong man was coming, so he yelled. For him, how can he believe that there is any real strong person coming here? It is impossible for a powerful existence that wants to cause trouble for the Rulan Empire to appear like this, right? Maybe they are the strong resistance of the indigenous people around the starry sky. After all, in this starry sky, there are also some indigenous people who resist the rule of the Rulan Empire. The sky level is the most numerous. Maybe they are just in the middle and early stages of flying using starry sky equipment. They can defeat them with a single artillery attack. Sir, he is really too fast, here he comes. The moment the commander issued the order, the soldiers who heard the report roared in shock. After that, before the commander's next command order was issued, a tiny figure was seen in the sky above their headquarters, smashing through the steel wall and directly smashing into the headquarters. Click. This tiny creature trampled this centipede-like monster to pieces. I am a messenger from the solar system, calling your officers to come out, he said. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito author, Bulletin U. Chapter 741. =U0026, read wonderful novels for free without pop-ups. Well, for this tiny creature, the entire command headquarters at this moment felt like seeing a devil. 81 Delta Delta. No, maybe I shouldn't say it was the devil, because the appearance of this existence was already beyond that of the devil. As soon as he appeared, he killed their most beloved military commander. Ah! You bastard! A high-ranking fleet commander who spoke Rulan Imperial dialect looked like he was going crazy and rushed forward. The strength of this being is at the mid-level heaven level, and for this incomplete fleet at the moment, he can be considered a master. And coupled with the high-tech equipment he is equipped with at all times, perhaps today's Earthlings will not be his opponents even if they are promoted to high-level heavenly levels. This strong man has great confidence in his own strength, because the sudden appearance of his opponent is too small. In this starry sky, almost all powerful beings are huge. Of course, except for those strong men of the Asta Empire. Huh? You want to kill me? You dare to scold me? Jia Yan's eyes changed at this moment, and he became a little sinister. He is very clear about the mission and determination of his trip. He represents the Earth at this moment and also represents all the people on the Earth. Moreover, he is here to find trouble. He has nothing to say to his disrespectful existence. Yes. Kill. Puff. I saw a slight movement of Jia Yan's brainwave power. He still stepped on the giant centipede's corpse without even taking out his hands. The huge monster that hit directly exploded its head, and it was too dead to die. If you dare to attack this envoy, you are hostile to my race. I have the right to exercise my power of self-protection and kill you. Jia Yan spoke lightly in Rulan Empire language. He learned Rulan Empire language from De Funi, a Rulan Empire artificial being, and he has not forgotten it at this moment. 20 or 30 senior executives in the command area on one side looked at Jia Yan with some fear at this moment. The existence of a strong man can be clearly distinguished by looking at his movements once or twice. This terrifying strong man only used his hands twice to kill the two most powerful men in this army. It can be said to be extremely terrifying. Tell me, where is your commander? I represent the solar system and I have something to convey to the Rulan Empire. Jia Yan patted the dust-free clothes on his body lightly and glanced around. My lord, you are stepping on our military commander at this moment. A soldier with approximately heaven-level strength finally came out and looked at Jia Yandeo with some horror. Jia Yan was startled, and then shook his head indifferently. He had just rushed down from outer space, and he directly realized that this place was the location of a command headquarters. Wanting to intimidate him, he stepped down directly, but he didn't expect that it was just right. The highest level of this fleet was trampled to death. But it doesn't matter. A heaven-level military commander is destined not to be a high-level existence. Just looking at this fleet, it is estimated that even the Earth's fleet may not be able to defeat it. You know that this is just a fleet equipped with rubbish. Just a small army on the outer frontier. Okay, then your highest officer will come out and I will ask him to convey something to the Rulan Empire. Jia Yan said calmly. At this moment, the soldiers in the entire fleet did not know that a strong man was coming at this moment. They wanted to resist, but they heard that this being, as soon as he appeared, easily killed the most powerful military commander among them, and then killed another mid-level heaven-level being without moving his hands. After killing him, he knew that even if they did take action, they wouldn't have the slightest chance. In this universe, the status of the strong is even higher than that of the Northern Star region, because the technological weapons here are not strong enough. For a strong person, it is simply easy to destroy an army on the planet. Extreme things. Only in the starry sky can a fleet with a speed advantage be able to defeat a strong man. Why is it a strong person again? Our fleet was forced out by strong people on the gray and yellow star. Now on this small frontier planet, we can actually meet strong people. It is really unlucky. Some soldiers were looking at the command headquarters where the incoming powerful man was in fear, almost crying from the bottom of their hearts. But at this time, some of their words were heard by Jia Yan, and his heart moved. After Jia Yan was stunned for a moment, it became clear. It turned out that this fleet was the Rulan Empire fleet that he had seen in the starry sky around the gray-yellow star. It was also the fleet force that once made De Funi despair. Unexpectedly, after the other party withdrew from the gray-yellow star, he would come here and be encountered by him for the second time. However, Jia Yan has no idea of settling the score. The fleet at the moment is bad enough, and his level of existence is too high, so he loses his status in dealing with them. Sir, it takes a week for our communications to reach the central area of the western region. After that, a series of procedures are required to communicate from the western region to the central area, and we don't think they will be communicated to the central area very quickly. It will be considered fast to be able to respond to you in about half a year, a communications soldier explained to Jia Yan with a look of tears at this moment. Oh, it's too troublesome. Just tell your so-called Western Region Central. I, the representative of the solar system, will go there in person right away and ask them to prepare me to the highest standards. Otherwise, Western Region Central. I will ask them directly. The chickens and dogs are restless there, Jia Yan said calmly. After that, he flew directly from the command post, without stopping too much, and rushed directly into the starry sky. This existence of his did not stop at all, but left with such domineering force. Only the fleet members were left, looking at each other in disbelief as this being left. Although they also had anti-aircraft fire and the like and were able to attack each other, it showed how quickly this tiny being left. No one dared to do this. Mentioned. You must know that there is some telepathy among the strong. At this moment, the existences above the heaven level in the entire fleet can feel that this powerful creature that suddenly attacked, although not big, is very important to them at this moment. However, it is a terrifying existence that is as big as heaven and earth. There are even one or two people who have more experience than Jian. They think that this existence seems to be stronger than the great starry sky level experts they have seen. I wonder where this existence is talking about. The solar system? People on Earth? It must be an extremely terrifying starry sky civilization. An envoy is so powerful that even our military commander will be killed at any time. And we haven't heard of the solar system yet, but it seems that the universe is really extremely vast, and the powerful civilizations are just like crucian carp crossing the river, too numerous to count. At this moment, every soldier looked a little frightened by this departing existence. Only one or two creatures who had heard of the Earth power during the Battle of the Gray-Yellow Star thought of it with confusion at this moment. But after thinking about it, these beings put aside this idea. After all, they thought too far. How could a small force born in a gray-yellow star be related to the civilization behind this terrifying existence? Quick! Send a message to the Western region. There is a person suspected of being a starry sky level person in this border area heading towards the center of the Western region. If the civilization and technology he is in are advanced, he may be able to reach the central area in a few years. All the communication soldiers were busy. However, what they reported was the news that this powerful man would not be able to reach the Western region until a few years at the earliest. After all, even the Rulan Empire would need a similar amount of time to travel a distance of several light years. This was already close to the speed of light. They did not dare to imagine that any civilization could break through the limitations of light. This so-called solar system civilization must not be a powerful civilization. Otherwise, in addition to several competitors including the Asta Empire civilization, our empire will have another opponent. Some fleet soldiers thought so. But what they don't know is that the solar system civilization is actually not far away from the Rulan civilization, it's just an indigenous civilization that has just left its home planet. Even if they guess the true identity of the solar system civilization, I alone will have to bring the Earth and the solar system civilization to at least the same status as Ruland civilization. Jia Yan, flying in the vacuum, was thinking with some flashes of light at this moment. Looking at what he did before, it is not difficult to guess that Jia Yan came to Ruland civilization under the guise of a powerful civilization. As someone who came to cause trouble, he naturally would not simply act as a friendly envoy. Instead, he would use the guise of an envoy to give this action an excuse or a guideline. As for whether it is reasonable, there is nothing unreasonable in the civilization of the universe, not to mention that the Ruland Empire really launched an attack on the solar system where the people on Earth are located not long ago. His actions can be described as reasonable. Through this action, Jia Yan wants to tell the civilizations and empires in the entire star field that the people on Earth are coming. And with his powerful existence, even if the people on Earth do not really have such terrifying strength, they will definitely rise. All Jia Yan needs to do is to pass the news this time. Action, just convey it. And while Jia Yan was riding the space capsule and slowly sailing towards the center of the distant western region, the news about his arrival flew to the destination countless times in a way of data addition. The central area of the western region. A week passed almost in the blink of an eye. The western region of the Ruland Empire is the collective name for the entire western region of the Ruland Empire. In fact, this star region includes more than 200 habitable planets and more than 20 star systems of various sizes. Each Hawaii star region is a natural province. However, because it is some distance from the central area of the Ruland Empire, a western region star was set up in a star system in the central region of the western region to manage the entire star region. But on this day, the arrival of a message caused some commotion in the intelligence processing department of Defu Star. Thanks to the tragic Aquarius book friend for another 1000 coin reward, thanks. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 742. It is not wrong to say that the power of the capital star is the real center in the western region, because it is too far away from the central area of the Ruland Empire. It is no different from a country. It is just because the 7 princes of the capital star are the Ruland Empire. The 7th prince of the royal family was no longer divided. Historically, this western region has directly sent troops to attack another medium-sized civilization without passing through the center of the Ruland Empire, and directly destroyed the other party. Therefore, this western region has great both actual combat power and autonomous power. How could there be such funny urgent news? What was delivered must be the Grey Star fleet that failed before. I thought they were unreliable back then, but this time they brought in some mysterious strong man. It's ridiculous. As for the news coming from far away, it is naturally impossible to take a direct look at the capital star. But there are also conservatives. No, as an army, the fleet's performance has always been pretty good, otherwise we wouldn't have kept their numbers after they failed. Presumably, the story about this strong man is true, and the report also said that this strong man even killed the commander of the fleet. The strength of the opponent should be between the peak sky level or the starry sky level. However, there is too little data to determine his actual combat effectiveness. Then do you want to pass on the news about this so-called messenger? I have never heard of it in the solar system, but I have heard of the Earth. It is the planet where our empire previously ordered to rob the star condensate minerals from the Asta Empire. Is it possible? Is it a coincidence? No, it's better not to upload it to the top. Then communicate with the fleet to determine the opponent's strength and see if it is a starry sky level. If it is not a starry sky level, then it doesn't matter. That's right. Besides, the speed of the other party's arrival cannot be that fast. Even if it is confirmed that he is a starry sky level, it will take several years to get to us. It will still be a long time. This is the result of the analysis and processing of the message transmitted by this distant fleet by the intelligence department on the capital planet. The entire western region is too big, and there are so many things that happen every day. Even if there are many starry sky level experts here, it is impossible for the intelligence department to make any response to a suspected starry sky level, and what does the other party claim to be? They have never heard of solar system civilization. Unlike the fleet on the border, the intelligence department here has a deep understanding of the civilizations in the nearby star fields. If they have not heard of this solar system civilization, even if the other party is really powerful, there can be no friction, because if it really existed, it would be a very far away civilization, and the cost of traveling back and forth for a war would not be worthwhile. But what they didn't expect was that the mineral star they knew during their investigation belonged to the solar system. However, they didn't call the galaxy where the Earth is located a solar system at all, but another name, so they would know about this civilization. The opportunity for true identity was missed. Of course, even if they knew about it, they would not be able to react. At most, they would just smile. In front of the Rulan Empire, the people on Earth are simply indigenous among the indigenous people. They are not even a threat. Even if there is a person who calls himself Earth now. Even if a strong human messenger appeared, they would not be alarmed. The strong men of this kind of civilization will not suddenly appear, and even if they are the starry sky level, there is nothing to worry about. The starry sky level is powerful, but it is nothing to a behemoth like the Rulan Empire. And just when the capital of the western region dealt with the news of the strong man's appearance directly, an ultra-small space vehicle, carrying a stream of light, arrived deep inside the western region. The so-called western region of Rulan Empire is really far worse than the northern star region. There are a lot fewer spaceships and battleships in the entire starry sky. It seems that although the scope of the two star regions is not much different, the technology and the national strength has dropped a lot. Jia Yan took the aircraft to the interior of the western region. As a strong man who has seen the true prosperity of the northern star territory, when he saw the scene of the so-called most prosperous place in the western region of the Rulan Empire, he showed some contempt at this moment. Of course, the western region is not really so unbearable. Jia Yan only judged that his civilization level is not as strong as the northern star region based on the degree of transformation of spaceships and interstellar materials. However, in fact, if people on Earth see this place, they will definitely think that they have come to science fiction world. There are flying battleships and spaceships everywhere, and many of them are tourist spaceships. There are all kinds of life forms on them, some are similar to humans, and some have appearances that no Earthling can imagine. Some of them belong to the major races of the Rulan Empire, and some are foreign races or ethnic minorities ruled by the Rulan Empire through invasion. In short, if people on Earth were here, even if they wanted to write down the appearance and names of all the ethnic groups, it would take a lot of brain power. Of course, for Jia Yan, the place at this moment is not too advanced for him. At this moment, he just looks around here. After a simple judgment, he understands the general civilization here. Level, and set off directly again. Jia Yan's space capsule is originally a tool that can fly over long distances, even 10,000 light-years away. For this tool, even Jia Yan has some respect for it. Now it is used for short-distance navigation. A sharp weapon, for the civilization of the Orion Arm, it is even more of a super-technological thing. Even if you let them study it, they may not be able to understand it. Therefore, no one could have imagined that Jia Yan, the so-called solar system messenger who had just discovered in the intelligence department that he was attacking a small fleet a few light-years away, would arrive in the center of the western region so quickly. Jia Yan's arrival did not attract any attention. Defending in space is not something that ordinary civilizations can do. Here in the western region, just guarding a part of the planet is already difficult enough. As for the outer space of Guangmao, their strength is not enough. Huh? This capital planet looks a bit like a planet. The entire planet, which is about the size of the Earth, has been built into a steel city. It's quite a big deal. Jia Yan operated the space capsule with the streamer and flew towards the capital star of the western region at a speed that stunned everyone who saw it. Soon, he saw the so-called capital star in his eyes. It was a planet that was built into a huge city. Perhaps because the overall population is sufficient, this planet is completely covered with high-rise buildings. The buildings in some places are even taller than the buildings in the most prosperous places in the northern star territory that Jia Yan has seen, by tens of thousands of meters. It is directly connected to outer space, where there are still spaceships flying around. Moreover, Jia Yan can also feel that there are some powerful auras on this planet, and it seems that there are many starry sky level ones. I'm not in a hurry. Let's take a look at the specific strength here. When Jia Yan operated the space capsule and landed not far away in space, he activated the stealth ability of the spacecraft. Of course, Jia Yan was not too careless in the enemy's lair. After all, this was also an important place in the Rulan Empire. God knows. Do they have the ability to discover their own space capsule? The place where he hides his space capsule is extremely remote at the moment. Even if the other party has the ability to detect the invisible space capsule, it is impossible to find it. After all, Jia Yan's freedom to come and go in the star field depends on the space capsule. Without it, Jia Yan's movement speed would completely slow down. After placing the space capsule, Jia Yan was alone, flying lightly through the universe with his hands behind his back, heading towards the star, the capital of the western region. The place where he docked the space capsule is still about 5 million kilometers away from the capital star, so he has to fly a short distance. Of course, he was not in a hurry, he just kept a slow speed and flew away while observing the surrounding starry sky. He looked like a low-level starry sky expert conducting flight training in the starry sky. Just after Jia Yan flew 2 million kilometers, an approaching spaceship saw him from a distance and turned around and flew over. "Captain, are we really going there? This is a strong man who can physically fly in the vacuum of space. In this spaceship?" A being from the frog human race asked the other frog man in shock. "Of course, go over there. Have you seen it? He looks like a man from Osto. Although I don't know how he came to our capital star, but he must have a good background. Let's go over and see if we can have some relationship with him." As the captain, the frogman seems to have an idea of getting involved with the flying strongman in front of him. Of course, they have no idea of attacking him. Beings who can physically cross the universe are not something they can provoke. "Sir, I wonder if you need to board our spaceship." Just when Jia Yan noticed the spacecraft, a brainwave power was transmitted from the spacecraft. This brainwave power doesn't feel weak anymore. It has the strength of the peak of the sky level. Of course, the difference between the sky level and the starry sky level is too much. Among 1,000 sky level peak powerhouses, in the end, one can become the starry sky level is a miracle, so the owner of this brainwave power obviously wants to please. "Okay, let's get on your spaceship," Jia Yan responded lightly, and then got into the cabin that the other party quickly opened. He wanted to know about the capital planet anyway, and boarding the opponent's spaceship would be considered as achieving his goal. Jia Yan's trip this time is destined to be impossible to keep a low profile. The other party doesn't know me now, but he will definitely know him after a while, because the entire Rulan Empire will tremble for a strong man like him. Therefore, he must show an extremely powerful feeling throughout his journey, otherwise, his influence on this trip will be damaged. Boom! Jia Yan put his hands behind his back and landed lightly on the opponent's spaceship. This is a cargo ship that can be felt through the energy system. It is just a cargo ship that carries out intra-system transportation within several planets in the capital star. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito author, Bulletin U. Chapter 743. There are countless such spaceships in the capital star system. After all, although the capital star has the largest name among the planets here, it is impossible that there are no other planets. In fact, there are more than 20 large life planets in the capital star system. This is not all. Including some smaller habitable satellites, it can be said to be an extremely huge ecological galaxy. Sir, you are here to welcome us. We are extremely proud of you. A 5-meter-tall frogman was waiting at the bridge. When he saw Jia Yan, he immediately came forward to please him. Well, I just came up to take a look. Please bring me some delicacies from your capital galaxy. I have something to ask you. Jia Yan held his hands behind his back and walked straight to the main operating room as if he was the master. The frogman captain who followed behind felt a powerful chi aura coming from him, almost suffocating him. He couldn't help but regret a little. Being able to please a starry sky-level powerhouse was naturally a huge help. However, countless people were killed because of the powerhouse's temper, let alone this powerhouse. The person was obviously not a race from the Rulan Empire. Even if it was, the other party killed an ordinary spaceship captain. It is impossible to be held accountable. Even if he is a captain at the top of the sky level and is recognized by his company as one of the strong men who may advance to the starry sky level, there will be no exceptions. This strong man seems to have a similar appearance to an Asta person. I don't know if he is an Asta person. I look a little different. Captain Frog responded and quickly gave the order. Other crew members quickly made arrangements for the food, and the food specially arranged was the food that the Asta people liked. At this moment, Jia Yan had already arrived at the control room of the spacecraft. Although he had already understood the structure of the spacecraft using the power of brain waves, when he actually saw the control room, he was still a little curious because the control room of the spacecraft was not big. And there are not many operators. Presumably this is because the spaceship is a cargo ship. It has reduced a large number of operators and used intelligent programs. It has to be said that the Rulan Empire still has some technological capabilities. Even the Northern Star Territory has some technological capabilities in this regard. We are lagging behind, of course. This is just because the Northern Star Territory still has some concerns about artificial intelligence. After Jia Yan arrived, he sat down directly in the captain's position. Sir, this is delicacy from our capital galaxy, suitable for the taste of Asta people. Not long after, a tea-like drink was delivered below, plus some pastries. Jia Yan nodded, slowly picked up a piece of pastry, took a bite, and tasted the taste. Several frogmen stood aside, watching Jia Yan's movements nervously. Some are worried about this strong man's sudden attack. Not bad. After taking a few bites, Jia Yan put the pastry down and said lightly while drinking tea. But I am not of the Asta family. In the future, I, the Earthling of the solar system, will be the noblest person in this image. Remember, Jia Yan put down the teacup. This cup of tea was not very suitable to his taste. There is always a biological smell. Earthlings. The frogman captain thought for a moment in surprise. It seemed that he had never heard any rumors about the people on Earth, but the other party actually said that the people on Earth would be more noble than the people of Asta. Could they be a civilization from some distant star field? That's right, Earthlings. In the future, in this star field, your Rulan Empire, Asta Empire, and even the Biochemical Emperor. Jia Yan wanted to say the Biochemical Empire, but suddenly thought of the Biochemical Empire. There is the existence of the Zerg, and he even saw a great level strongman among the Zerg. He didn't dare to say these words. If he said anything about the Biochemical Empire at this moment, he might really be slapped in the face in the future. He didn't want to have anything to do with the Biochemical Empire and the Zerg. You must know that behind these two forces, there might be a great and powerful person with extraordinary abilities. All of your great empires will get to know my Earthling race in the future. I won't say much now, but have a few questions for you. Jia Yan swallowed what he was about to say, changed the subject, and asked the captain. Excuse me, sir. Captain Frog responded quickly. How many starry sky level experts are there on your capital planet? Who is the most powerful? Jia Yan asked softly. When Captain Frog heard this, his whole body suddenly shook, and then he looked at this self-proclaimed Earthling with some fear. At this moment, he was a little scared. Most powerful people would not ask this kind of question. Presumably the other party asking this question meant that he did not mean well to Capital Star. Of course, it is normal for strong people to ask this kind of question. Even if the other party is malicious, it may not really be able to cause any damage to the entire capital galaxy. After all, the other party is only a starry sky level. Even if no matter how powerful it is impossible for it to have any thoughts of attacking the capital star, right? After thinking for a while, the captain decided to answer. Sir, I don't know how many starry sky levels there are in our capital star. I just know that there are no less than 20 permanent starry sky levels on the capital star, because some strong people come and go, but you have to. If you ask about the strongest person, I can answer that the strongest person on the entire capital planet is the strong bodyguard of His Highness the Five Kings, a high-level being in the starry sky. High-level starry sky? There was a flash of thought in Jia Yan's eyes. He didn't really believe in the so-called high-level starry sky in this star field, because the level of strong men in the Orion Arm star field was obviously more powerful than those in the northern star field. It's a notch weaker over there. There is a big question mark as to whether the high-level starry sky they are talking about is as powerful as the high-level starry sky in the northern star region. So, are there any strong people in the capital star? In other words, are there any strong people at the semi-star level in your Rulan Empire? Jia Yan was silent for a while, and then asked a sentence to make these beings words of wonder. What is a strong person at the second level? What is a stellar level? Sir, we don't know which level of strong person this is. The frog captain didn't understand what kind of strong person Jia Yan was asking about, but his heart was shaken, and there was a faint feeling at this moment. There is some speculation that this strong man is talking about the strong men of the next level after the starry sky level, but it seems that they have never heard of him in the Rulan Empire. If this strong man was really talking about the level of Queen of the Starry Sky, how did he know? Could it be said that this strong man is more powerful than imagined? Captain Frog felt shocked at the moment and couldn't help but look at Jia Yan. Haha, haven't you even heard of the strong men of Sigwan? At this moment, Jia Yan finally understood the strength level of the strong men in the Rulan Empire. An empire that had not even heard of the strong men of Sigwan. Even if there are strong men, the most powerful ones are at the venerable level at most, and they may not even be venerable. Jia Yan decided not to ask so many questions. He just asked the captain for a few videos of the battles of strong men in the star field. Although such videos are difficult to find, in fact, if you go to the Capital Star Network to search, you can still find some of them. Okay, thank you for your cooperation. Remember, my name is MOK. After a period of understanding, Jia Yan stood up. At this moment, the spacecraft also arrived at the periphery of the Capital Star, and he flew directly out of the cargo spacecraft. Hey, try not to provoke the strong man in the future. Why do I feel that this strong man doesn't appreciate it at all? The frog strong man was behind Jia Yan, laughing at himself in a depressed manner. Of course, he didn't know that Jia Yan didn't have the idea of appreciating the favor. If he could gain the favor of a strong man by just carrying him for a period of time, then the favor of the strong man would cost him no idea how much it would cost. What's more, Jia Yan came to the star field just to find trouble. Jia Yan felt a lot more confident after flying out of the cargo spaceship. I just watched a few battle videos and realized why the Oro who fought with me was one of the top 10 strongest men in the Asta Empire. It's simply ridiculous. The strongest men in this entire star field. We are all going the wrong way. Jia Yan thought of the few battle videos he had just seen, and he had some dumbfounding thoughts at the moment. In fact, he had been prepared before leaving the Earth this time, because when his strength was extremely low, he could find one of the so-called top 10 in the Asta Empire by, that is, that Asta gunslinger Odao is engaged in a battle. I used to think that Odao's strength was just because of his fame. But now I understand that Odao is just famous. He is basically a strong man in this star field. He is really. It's so bad. When Odao fought with me, the strong man's momentum was quite strong, but it was at most as high as the midterm in the northern starry sky. As for the fighting skills, it was even worse. Presumably in this case, the northern star, any stronger Sean Kong initial stage player in the domain would be able to defeat him. And such existences are the top 10 strong men of the Asta Empire, and the Rulan Empire may not be the same. At least the strength of those strong men in the video I just saw, to me. It's not a one-hit kill, it's almost the same. Maybe if I use brainwave power to directly suppress them, they may not even be able to move. Is this still called a starry sky level? It's really dumbfounding. Jia Yan understands the importance of communication. It seems that the beings here in the Orion Arm lack communication with the strong people from the outside world, which has caused the strong people's path to go astray. Otherwise, a high-level person who should have the strength of the starry sky, the strong man, was actually so weak that he couldn't even defeat the low-level stars in the outside world. It was laughable. It doesn't matter. Their strength is so weak that it is convenient for me to move. My strength is in the northern star territory. I can defeat even a strong person at the next level. The most powerful ones here may not be able to defeat them. There is a huge gap between me and me. With the overwhelming difference in strength, my actions will definitely go much smoother. Thinking of this, Jia Yan didn't hesitate at all and flew directly towards the huge planet in front of him. The capital of Rulan Empire's western region, Star Pretend, no, a one-man diplomatic special operations operation is about to begin.